I am California of the past.
I am California of the past.
I
I am California of the past.
When I was a child, my mother owned the restaurant right next door to the theater. It was a Mexican restaurant first, and then she changed it to a French restaurant. Robert L. Lippard was the owner of the theater, as well as several other theaters, but because she was a tenant, we got to know him, and he let me and my friends into the movies whenever we wanted, free of charge. If we wanted snacks, we had to pay for those, but the movie was there. We were allowed to go into it. My mother would send us in with a bunch of food from the restaurant, and we'd spend Friday nights there. We'd spend Saturdays maybe watching 2 or 3 movies like Jaws and Earthquake and Poseidon Adventure. Most of my childhood was spent at the Alameda Theater. It's just every one of my greatest childhood memories. Every guy I know had their first date there, including me. It was just awesome. It was just a work of art. Marble, granite everywhere, the curtains, works of art. It was just so impressive. It was enormous, especially when it was one single theater. You had the big balcony and then you had the lower section. And that's where people were entertained. They spent all their times there. There was no video games to play on the weekends, and TV was very lacking. So movies were such a huge part of a kid's life. And then that theater that was the theater I was raised on. So if you went to another theater like the South Shore Theater, where it was very plain and corporate, it was very hard to enjoy that movie experience. As I was saying, when I first started going to the theater, then it was just one big, large, single theater with an enormous screen. And then when the owner died, his son took over and made it into the Alameda 3 Theater by chopping off the balcony and adding 2 more theaters upstairs. That took away a little bit from the grandeur of the theater, and I was a little disappointed, to be honest with you, but it did allow a bigger variety of movies to be played there. Then it closed and basically turned into a roller rink, warehouse, and rehearsal room. And yeah, I'm in the music business, so I did spend a little time in some of the rehearsal rooms there, and it was very dingy and dirty and unkept. And it was very hard for me to be there. It was very sad because it was such an important part of my childhood. When I heard that they were going to restore that theater, it was a dream come true to me. It was one of the greatest things in my life because that place is such a treasure. Of course, I was skeptical of how they could restore it to its grandeur. And then adding on several other theaters, I couldn't imagine how. But as construction went on, I saw that they were really putting some time and effort into it. And the first time I walked into the theater, it was like walking back in time. They really did it. I mean, in the bathrooms, the same marble and granite that was there when I was a kid, and probably there since the 30s or 40s when it was first built. The main theater, although the movie I went to see wasn't in the main theater, I had to sneak in there and look in there, and I was just blown away, and I didn't want to leave. And then when I went upstairs into the new theaters, there were more modern theaters, and they were very comfortable, and it was a beautiful place to be, and it did not detract from the main theater. So, is it back to its grandeur? It's all there, and then some, absolutely. It was magic, and I think about that theater all the time. I really appreciate any Art Deco theater, and to me, Alameda Theater is one of the grandest theaters of them all.